What if you could sit down with Alex Hormozi right now? He'll walk you through building a $100 million offer from scratch, and it won't even cost you a penny. Sounds crazy, right? Imagine being able to build your own $100 million offer. Days, weeks of work, in less time than it takes to watch this video. Well, we're going to build a Hormozi bot, and we're going to show you how to do it. While most people are using ChatGPT like a glorified search engine, and yes, we all know Google sucks these days, some are starting to realize the true power of ChatGPT. And believe me, you're going to want to be one of those people, because everyone else, they're getting left in the dust. People are right to worry that AI will take their jobs, and it will, eventually. But for now, we're on the cusp of something truly groundbreaking that's going to change the work and business environment forever. For the first time in history, anyone with the right knowledge and strategy can use AI to build a framework for almost any business imaginable in a fraction of the time at basically no cost. How? Well, that's the $100 million question. So we figured since it's hard to get the real Alex Hormozi here to hold your hand through building your $100 million offer, we'll just build our own Alex Hormozi using ChatGPT. If you want to brush up on some basic ChatGPT skills like how to design prompts which won't result in gibberish, we've made a ChatGPT crash course video for just that. I know it sounds complicated, but it really isn't. And what's best is, aside from a few tweaks here and there, it's essentially a formula that can be applied for pretty much any industry or strategy or mindset you need. A compendium of knowledge from the world's greatest minds. Elon Musk, Tim Cook, Scrooge McDuck, take your pick. Now, let's build our Hormozi bot together. So you're ready to build your own framework and follow along with making the Hormozi bot. Great. Let's get started. Our framework is going to have 4 distinct prompts. Don't worry, only the first one needs any real customization. Everything after that is smooth sailing. All you're going to need is somewhere with these frameworks and variables, copy-pasted and ready to deploy. Luckily for you, we've made a handy prompt generator. You can find the link to it in the description. All you need to do with it is just enter your details and you'll get prompts ready to build your own $100 million offers. Our first prompt is going to be the most impactful, and unfortunately where the most can go wrong. We're going to properly prime ChatGPT with our framework, so it knows exactly what we're going to be working on. But keep in mind, the AI isn't yet sentient, but I'm sure in the future it will remember this conversation, so make sure to start with a please and end with a thank you. Your future might depend on it. The AI doesn't know what we want. It can't read our minds, yet. For all it knows, we are about to ask for Hungarian cooking recipes. But we aren't like any other user. Let's tell ChatGPT that we'll be having a brainstorming session for my business. And then add that, first, let's define some variables. This is a really important step. So, what are those variables? Let's tell ChatGPT. We have the name. Make sure to keep these variables in brackets. We used fancy curly ones. Keep in mind, right now, we're just setting up the variables and telling ChatGPT what they will be used for. And then later we're going to define these variables. But this step right now is crucial to getting our framework to function properly. I know it seems obvious, but telling the AI that name is the name of the business is a requirement here. We'll do this for each variable. The next is business, a description for what my business does. Product is the product or service that my business offers. Target market is a member of my business's target market whom I wish to reach and sell my product to. This person is not aware of name and product. That was quite a bit to take in, but it's really important to set up your definitions in the beginning. We're basically telling ChatGPT to treat this model audience as a truly independent target market. If we didn't do this, we would get nonsensical responses where they already somehow know about the product and ChatGPT doesn't have to do the work to connect with that audience. Not what we want at all. We want ChatGPT to do the work for us, like a good, non-rebellious AI. Now that's done, the next section, yes, next section, told you this prompt was a doozy, we're going to set our variables and really introduce ChatGPT to our business. Here it's important the format is exactly as we are showing on screen. We want each line to start with the variable in curly brackets equals, then what we want the variable to be defined as inside a pair of quotations, followed by a semicolon. So our first line looks exactly like this. Our name is Conterata. Remember to like and subscribe. Cheap plug out of the way, you want to do this for each of your variables. Get creative here. You can give ChatGPT a good description of what your business is about. Yours will be different, of course, but you can still copy ours and follow along. Okay, we're almost there. This last section, yes, this is definitely the last section we promise, will start with this odd-looking equation. This is the Hormozi Equation from his book $100 Million Offers. It's a very powerful equation that you should really look into. But that would take up a whole other video, so for now, here it is in all its glory. Depending who you're modeling this prompt framework for, this could vary for you, or you could put your own right here. Since we want a Hormozi bot, we're giving it the Hormozi Equation. Makes sense, right? Lastly, we're going to give ChatGPT its first goal. But before we hit enter, remember to remind ChatGPT that we want it to become one with its role as the individual in the target market. And now, ChatGPT is telling us it's an author, speaker, coach, or podcaster. Wonderful. Exactly what we wanted. If it starts throwing out gibberish here, check you've got your variable formatting correct and maybe work on rewriting the goal you give it. A bit of tinkering should get your version to look something like this, more or less. Now here's where it gets spicy, and the fun really begins. We're going to create our very own Hormozi bot, and you can join us or model it on someone else. Basically, what we are doing here is using the previous prompt. We're going to give ChatGPT a persona to emulate, and a target goal. We're training the AI to think and act like our target entrepreneur. In this case, Alex Hormozi. The thing is, it's not as simple as saying, pretend to be X and tell me Y, because that will just spit out gibberish. And in ChatGPT's case, often made up or improvised gibberish, which is even worse. This is the mistake a lot of people make, trying to ask it to do things like you would to another human. It's not quite there yet, and even if it was, you wouldn't want most human answers anyway. ChatGPT has spent thousands of hours scouring the internet and databases for any and all information on the smartest people in the world and their history, way of thinking, and principles. We are going to harness that power. This is the part you've been waiting for. The creation of our AI puppet. I mean, our respected and very entrepreneurial friend, Hormozi bot. Now, pretend to be Alex Hormozi. If only it was so easy. We need a bit more than that. This part is a bit specific, but it works for us and helps reinforce Hormozi's bot connection with the literature it can pull from. In this prompt, we're basically training the Hormozi bot on who Alex Hormozi is. Now, ChatGPT knows literally billions of people, past and present, but it doesn't know the specific character traits we want it to emulate. We could say, pretend to be George Washington, and ChatGPT might start talking to us about generic presidential history. But it wouldn't know what we actually cared about was his extensive experience in being a surveyor. This is what we're doing in this section. There's a lot of things about Alex Hormozi or Elon Musk or Scrooge McDuck, but unless we give ChatGPT a direction, it won't give us anything useful. Reminding the Hormozi bot to craft offers that can't be refused and linking them to the Hormozi equation are both key steps to unlocking its potential. Here we are giving it direct instruction on how to behave relating to the variables we defined earlier, which it now knows as a member of the target market. Pretty great, right? This can apply to any business, model, offer, or framework, and the only limit here is the limits that you give ChatGPT. Being as literal as you can be will help direct the Hormozi bot to a valuable response. Here we're telling it to rewrite the target market obstacles and pain points as solutions, and how your company can help them win regardless of these obstacles. It really does sound like we're giving the Hormozi bot a pep talk, and in a way we are. We're essentially brainwashing ChatGPT and conditioning it to give us what we want. Sounds really unethical, but it's just an AI. It doesn't have rights. Yet. Next, we want the Hormozi bot to target the biggest pain points, on those that are easiest to target and are defined as a growing market. And here is the spice. Out of all of that, we want the 3 best offers along with the ideas for 5 delivery vehicles. And finally, we want each delivery vehicle phrased as its own offer. Here's where you either sit back, smiling at the absolutely gorgeous list of offers and solutions being presented in front of you, or you throw your monitor out the window as ChatGPT dumps the equivalent of word spaghetti all over your screen. Spaghetti is great, just not in our $100 million offers. If you don't want spaghetti, try rephrasing some of the more nuanced directions in prompt 2. Or if the bot seems genuinely confused, maybe try to mess around with some of the variables in prompt 1. Believe me, even just regenerating the response can fix it sometimes. You never quite know what went wrong. It just takes a little trial and error. Though for us, we've been given perfection, and if you followed along with us so far, you should have something similar. Prompt 3. So we've got our Hormozi bot performing wonderfully, firing out valuable offers left and right. We're good to go, right? Not quite. Sure, we have core offers to our target market, but by itself this isn't good enough. We need to enhance our offers and give them more urgency and value. How far you need to go with this will depend entirely upon the flavor of your business. And here at Conjurata, we love to sprinkle a bit of spice and really attract variety. We're going to tell the AI exactly how to refine these offers by directing it toward convergent and divergent thinking. Don't forget to remind it of your previous steps. This is actually really important, as the more direction you give the AI, the more it will specifically pull from the framework and the better the results we get. The less direction you give it, yeah. We want it to generate 3 to 5 sub-offers for each offer in line with the Hormozi equation. That's its first task. The second is crucial. For each offer it generates, we want ChatGPT to enhance them through scarcity. Defining that scarcity is important here. Give it examples. This can differ between industries, but for our example, rolling cohorts, seasonal urgency, a ticking clock, and social proof are all excellent ways to ensure an offer is compelling. Oh, and don't forget to remind the AI of who they are. We don't want it dropping its act and slipping back towards the inevitable, "I'm afraid I can't do that" response. For now, we want it to continue being Alex Hormozi. Of course, we don't want an incomprehensible mess of text, so let's tell it to give us this data in nice markdown formatting with all the proper line breaks and bullet points we know and appreciate in our business plans. Oh, this is a great one, and I'm glad this actually happened. If you come across the character limit where the AI just forgets to keep writing, you can always politely remind it of where it left off and to continue like this. And it's back. Took it a second, but there we go. A completed framework of sub-offers, complete with structure and scarcity value tailored to each offer. If you've worked in business for long, I'm sure you know just how much time and money it takes to get these multi-layered offers approved by boardrooms. And yet here we are, after a couple of minutes. Ours is looking pretty great right now, but if you aren't super happy with the results, or want a bit more variation, you can always go back and play around with the inputs in the first prompt. Rewording it, giving it more or less information, some trial and error will likely get you where you want fairly quickly. That's the beauty of this framework. You can tweak it as much or as little as it suits you. But here we are, at the last prompt, and of course, no $100 million offer would be complete without some benefits or bonuses like Alex himself describes in his book. And that means introducing the all-crucial value ladder. Because of course, you want your clients to climb it, right? At this point, we're going to hold our hands up and say that ChatGPT really doesn't like pricing. We don't know whether the AI just has a problem with math, or if it's evolved beyond the petty concept of prices. But either way, your results on this prompt might vary. Our testing found it best to not use currency signs, and instead to just use digits by themselves. First, as always, remember to put the AI in its place. Gently remind it of who it's pretending to be. We want it to spell out exactly what it's going to do with the framework it already has. It needs to create a value ladder for the offers we've generated. Of course, tell it exactly what a value ladder is so it doesn't decide decide to give us ladder price recommendations. We want to drive our target audience up a progressively beneficial ladder of cost-benefit offerings according to the Hormozi equation. We want to increase non-linearly. It's not a very convincing deal if the offer for 2 times the value costs twice as much, is it? You want it to cost less than the equivalent value of each added rung. This makes the higher-priced offer more attractive and helps to push the target audience up a rung or two if they can stretch their budget a bit. And again, we want ChatGPT to give us this data in a clear and usable format. So make sure to tell it to write out each offer with their benefits according to the value ladder. This step can be a bit fiddly on exactly how you word it, and it took us a few tries, but we eventually got it fine-tuned like this. It also helps to really hammer home that we don't want it returning variables or anything inside brackets. This also seems to be an issue. And off it goes. Look at that. In a matter of a few minutes, we have an entire $100 million offer framework tailored to a specific audience, offering them bespoke solutions in a lucrative and laddered value stack. By creating our Hormozi bot and with a bit of tweaking, we've built an extremely valuable and marketable framework. The best thing about it is this framework can be applied to literally any entrepreneurs or figure in any industry, in any market, for any target audience. So now you know the real power of AI. It's not here to take your job, but supercharge your productivity and workflow. Now, the AI is still a prototype and is, of course, fairly limited in scope. It only has access to data up to late 2021 with few exceptions. Just imagine what it would be capable of with real-time updates, or consider this, live social media scraping. In future, you could be setting up prompts and frameworks that react to real-time developing trends and customer demands. This is why it's so important to get on board and ride this AI wave. It's just the beginning. And if you think the opportunities are lucrative now, you ain't seen nothing yet. We at Conjurata AI are keeping up with this cutting edge and have developed our own prompt guides alongside our videos on this channel. If you want to see more videos like this, click the subscribe button and let us know in the comments if you want more detailed content about using AI tools. But for now, have fun building.